10-VTC-95-0003, work order TV 0054-95, tape 1 of 1. Runtime is 19 minutes, posted on 11 August 1995.
Welcome to the 1st Squadron, 7th U.S. Cavalry, the eyes and ears of the 1st Cavalry Division. This presentation will familiarize you with the history of the Garryowen from its constitution in 1866 at Fort Riley, Kansas, to its current assignment at Fort Hood, Texas. You will then learn the squadron's composition, mission, and capabilities. Finally, you will be introduced to the way Garryowen maneuvers on the modern battlefield to provide reconnaissance and security in advance of the 1st Cavalry Division. Organized in September 1866 at Fort Riley, Kansas, the 7th Cavalry Regiment fought in the Indian Wars on the western frontier until 1891. Under Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer's command, the regiment built the enviable reputation as the best horse soldiers on the plain. As controversial as he was colorful, Lieutenant Colonel Custer was responsible for the adoption of Garryowen as the regimental song. From the period 1892 to 1917, the 7th Cavalry fought in Cuba, the Philippines, and in Mexico. In September of 1917, the 7th Cavalry took part in the last true cavalry charge during the Battle of Garryowen. From 1918 to 1943, the regiment was stationed at Fort Bliss, Texas, where it patrolled the Mexican border. It was during that time that the unit participated in numerous exercises which helped prepare for World War II. In early 1943, the 7th turned in their horses and began retraining as foot soldiers for action in the Pacific. From July 1943 to June 1945, the Garryowen troopers saw heavy fighting from the Admiralties to Luzon. On the 2nd of September 1945, the 7th landed on the Japanese mainland with General MacArthur. 6 years later in Korea, the unit fought in the war's bloodiest battles. When the 1st Cavalry Division attacked north, the 7th was in front, smashing 106 miles behind enemy lines in a historic 24 hours. The next shooting war took the 7th Cavalry to the Republic of Vietnam, where the air mobile infantrymen distinguished themselves in numerous combat campaigns throughout 1965 to 1972. In October 1986, the 1st Battalion, 7th Cavalry was reorganized as an armored cavalry squadron and redesignated the 1st Squadron, 7th Cavalry, assigned as the divisional cavalry squadron for the 1st Cavalry Division at Fort Hood, Texas. In September 1990, the 7th First again responded to the country's call to arms when it deployed to Southwest Asia for Operation Desert Shield and Desert Storm. On February 26, 1991, the Garryowen Regiment led the division by charging into Iraq and rolling over 250 kilometers of desert in 24 hours. By the time the ceasefire came into effect 2 days later, the squadron had overrun numerous dismounted defensive positions, captured equipment, and over 500 prisoners, and destroyed many enemy vehicles. On April 14, 1991, the entire squadron redeployed to Fort Hood, having accomplished its combat mission without loss of life. Throughout its history, the 7th Cavalry Regiment has been awarded some 38 campaign streamers, 5 Presidential Unit citations, and 2 Valorous Unit Awards, as well as having numerous Medal of Honor winners. The spirit of Custer's famed 7th Cavalry is alive and well today in the 1st Squadron, 7th Cavalry, as the troopers combine the esprit of the unit's colorful past with the challenges it faces as the eyes and ears of the first team. The squadron consists of 7 separate troops, each with a specific role in accomplishing the squadron mission. Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie troops are the squadron's ground maneuver force. Delta and Echo troops make up the air component of the squadron's combat power. Headquarters and Headquarters troop provide critical support to the squadron's ground troops and also contain the squadron's command staff sections. Fox Troop ensures that the 2 troops stay airborne with fuel and ammunition, as well as providing unit-level maintenance support. The 3 ground troops, Apache, Black Hawk, and Comanche, each consist of 9 M1A2 battle tanks, 13 M3 Cavalry fighting vehicles, and 3 M106 tracks, each employ 4.2 mortars. Each troop is divided into 2 tank platoons, 2 scout platoons, and a mortar platoon. The ground cavalry troops comprise the 3 primary combat elements of the squadron. The largest company-sized combat unit in the Army, the cavalry troop is a day-night, all-weather fighting unit. These armored cavalrymen must be able to operate independently over large areas of ground. Because of this, the troop is relatively self-supporting. The cavalry troop's missions, of course, mirror those of the squadron: reconnaissance and security. The backbone of each ground troop are 2 scout platoons. Each scout platoon is equipped with 6 M3A2 cavalry fighting vehicles. The armor-defeating capability and firepower of the 25mm Bushmaster chain gun and the TOW anti-tank missile enable them to destroy the enemy when required. Preferably, the scouts remain unseen and pass the enemy on to the real killers of the troop, the tank platoons. Each of the 2 tank platoons are equipped with 4 M1A2 Abrams tanks. Fast, heavily armored, and highly lethal, the tank platoons have the awesome reputation as king of the killing ground. Their 120mm smoothbore main gun will destroy any armored vehicle in existence today. With its position navigation system, intervehicular information system, and commander's thermal viewer, the M1A2 is truly a tank for the future. In order to command and control and support these platoons, the headquarters platoon is equally diverse. It's broken down into a maintenance section, supply section, and command section. Often dispersed and fighting outnumbered, one key to success for the cavalry troop is its ability to bring accurate and timely indirect fire on the enemy. Accomplished with the 3-gun, 4.2-inch mortar section. The cavalry troop is the only company-level unit in the Army to operate its own TOC. The organic combat power and self-contained support element makes the ground cavalry troop truly unique in the Army. While not as mobile as the air troops, the ground troops are more suited to seize ground and destroy the enemy, thereby shaping the battlefield for the division commander. The Hellfighters of Headquarters and Headquarters Troop provide non-stop combat support which keeps the squadron fighting day and night both in the field as well as during garrison operations. Headquarters and Headquarters Troop is the lifeline for the squadron as it feeds, fuels, fixes, and sustains the squadron. The combat services support assets organic to the squadron include many sections. S1 section is responsible for all personnel and administrative actions, which include leave or pass processing, finance, mail, evaluations, and much more. The S2 section is the primary source of intelligence gathering and analysis in the squadron. The S3 section, comprised largely of officers and senior NCOs, all plan operations for the squadron and allocate necessary resources for training. The S4 section is the central node for supplies and combat service support planning for the squadron. The medical platoon provides daily sick call in garrison or in the field and supports the squadron with medical care forward on the battlefield. The mess section provides Class 1 support for the squadron both in garrison, where it cooks out of the Red Team Inn, and in the field, where its mess site is part of the squadron's field trains. The squadron's maintenance platoon, or SMO, maintains and recovers the squadron's equipment and is responsible for all vehicle services within the squadron. Other sections include communications, the unit ministry team, and the headquarters section. Without HHT, the squadron could not do business. The Hellfighters will continue to be the heart of the squadron with flexible, responsive, and aggressive combat service support. Located at Robert Gray Army Airfield on West Fort Hood, the Outlaws and the Bounty Hunters comprise the air power of the squadron. Each air troop consists of 6 OH-58C Kiowa observation helicopters and 4 AH-1F Cobra attack helicopters. The OH-58 Scout helicopter provides an excellent platform with which to conduct aerial reconnaissance due to its small size and excellent maneuverability. The AH-1F Cobra provides awesome firepower with its 20mm cannon, the 2.75 folding fin aerial rockets, and the tow missile. With this onboard arsenal, the Cobra is capable of protecting the Scout as well as destroying enemy armored formations. A combination of Kiowa and Cobras known as the Scout Weapon Teams are the squadron's commander's eyes on the battlefield. The Scout Weapon Teams conduct reconnaissance in advance or in conjunction with the ground troops. If necessary, the AH-1 Cobras can mass their firepower to provide the squadron with a highly mobile, lethal reserve. The air cavalry troops conduct the same missions as the ground troops. They also use similar tactics. And while they don't have the armored protection to meet the enemy head-to-head, their mobility enables them to conduct reconnaissance over a wider area much more rapidly than ground scouts. Also, the speed of air operations allows the squadron commander to flex Cobras as a reserve much more quickly than a tank platoon. Fox Troop supports the air mission for the squadron by providing aircraft maintenance, fuel, ammunition, and support personnel in garrison and field environments. The troop consists of 5 platoons, each with their own specialty or combination of specialties. Aircraft inspectors and repair parts are provided by the headquarters platoon. The maintenance platoon keeps the Garryowen aircraft in top flying condition with backup and phase maintenance, as well as downed aircraft recovery. Members of the shop's platoon repair components or specific sections of the aircraft, such as structural, props and rotor, engine, electrical, and avionics. The armament platoon supplies maintenance for the Cobra attack helicopter's weapon system and forward deploys with the air troops via forward arming and refueling points. The 3-5 platoon supplies and handles petroleum products and ammunition for the air troops in the field and garrison. With its combination of specialties, Fox Troop is capable of providing continual support to the air troops during sustained day and night operations. The mission of 1st Squadron, 7th Cavalry is critical to the success of the division. On order, 1st Squadron, 7th Cavalry leads the 1st Cavalry Division through deployment and conducts reconnaissance, security, and economy of force operations for the division. To execute this mission at any time means the soldiers of Garryowen must always be ready to effectively act as the eyes and ears of the division commander. The squadron must be capable of conducting continuous reconnaissance. In addition to reconnaissance, the squadron performs security operations characterized by aggressive reconnaissance to reduce terrain and enemy unknowns, gaining and maintaining contact with the enemy to ensure continuous information, and providing early and accurate reporting of information to the protected force. The squadron may be asked to perform economy of force missions to allow the division to concentrate forces elsewhere. Defensive missions in the main battle area may be assigned to the squadron as an economy of force for the division commander. Typically, the squadron may defend in sector, delay, counterattack, or perform deception operations to support the division's objectives. The squadron arrays its assets according to the assigned mission. Each troop is given specific tasks that support the overall squadron mission. The air troops may operate under squadron control to provide information directly to the squadron headquarters, or they may be placed under control of a ground commander to increase his reconnaissance capability and firepower. Once deployed, the ground troops will execute battle drills specific to the enemy and terrain they face. These battle drills are rehearsed time and time again to ensure each vehicle knows its responsibility in the overall troop movement. The air troops enhance these battle drills by providing the ground troop with increased reconnaissance forward as well as flexible firepower should it be necessary. While formidable when fighting alone, the air and ground troop have a multiplying effect when working together that creates a devastating combination on the battlefield. To ensure the soldiers and families of Garryowen are always prepared for deployment, the squadron maintains a special Hands Across the Squadron program consisting of 7 troop family support groups. The Family Readiness Group has 3 objectives. 1, to promote self-reliant families who are better able to cope with the absence of the military sponsor. 2, to assist the families of the squadron during periods when the military sponsor is absent, such as during extended field training exercises or deployment. And 3, to build esprit de corps and a sense of belonging among soldiers and families of the squadron. The Family Readiness Group operates on 3 assumptions. First, all soldiers and family members belong to the group. There are no dues. Everyone participates according to his or her desire. Secondly, all spouses are equal. There is no rank among family members. And lastly, the Family Readiness Group is an official organization sponsored by the squadron. Members of Garryowen work in an ever-changing squadron. Advancements in technology continue to shape the composition and capability of 17 CAV. One major improvement to the squadron will be the introduction of 16 AH-58 Delta Kiowa Warriors. These aircraft will replace both the OH-58 and the AH-1 currently existing in the squadron's inventory. With this mast-mounted sight system, this aircraft is much better suited for night reconnaissance than its predecessors. The Kiowa Warrior is capable of firing the Hellfire missile, 2.75-inch rockets, and a 50 caliber fixed machine gun in self-defense or to destroy enemy reconnaissance forces. This addition, combined with the future introduction of the M3A3 Cavalry fighting vehicle and the 120mm mortar, will increase the reconnaissance capability and lethality of an already proven combined arms team. The 1st Squadron, 7th U.S. Cavalry, trains hard to perform combat operations. The efforts of the soldiers of Garryowen guarantee the squadron is always prepared to deploy in advance of the 1st Cavalry Division. While technology continues to change the face of 17 CAV, it is the individual soldiers that makes the unit so very special. Their ability to train and maintain the squadron ensure its strength and continual readiness. So long as 17 CAV soldiers strive for higher standards and commitment to excellence, Garryowen will continue to hold its place as the eyes and ears of the division commander. The first to fight within the 1st team.